Hi, I'm Ree from mummyof4.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am answering questions I get asked a lot over on my Instagram and here on my YouTube channel. Questions like, what's the best way to lose weight? What's the best way to get skinny? How do I shift the baby weight? How do I keep the weight off? How do I stay skinny? So if you are interested in the answers to some of those questions, keep watching. If you are new here, welcome. Please subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Now, I know quite a lot about having to lose quite a lot of weight. I have been through 4 pregnancies and I never once had one of those glowing pregnancies that I always wanted, where I looked amazing and you couldn't tell I was pregnant from the back and I just had this bump and no other fat anywhere else. I literally ballooned every single time. I was enormous and I was all face and bum and everything, and I had so much weight to lose afterwards, and I looked pregnant for a long time after having the babies. But I managed every time to get back to kind of my comfortable, you know, size 10 clothes and feeling generally confident in my body again. So in this video I'm going to share with you some of the tricks I have picked up along the way that are going to totally change the way you diet and look at food. A big shout out and thank you to Exante for partnering with me on this video. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I love Exante products. I use them every day. Even though I'm no longer trying to lose weight, they really help with kind of weight maintenance and just slot in with my lifestyle. So before we dive into the tips, let me just start by saying I'm not a doctor, and before you start making any changes to your diet or exercise or anything, please consult your own doctor. Be sensible with it. You know it's the right thing to do. I am also a recovering comfort eater. So if you have ever eaten because you are tired, you are bored, you are anxious, you are stressed, you are sad, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. And if you have ever done that, let me know in the comments. I have really had to fight the urge to do this, and I have sort of come up with some tactics to get over this comfort eating that is kind of my natural go-to state, sadly. So keep watching this video and I shall share all of those tips. So my first tip before you go to eat anything is just stop and think, am I really hungry? So if you're not hungry, are you bored or sad or anxious or whatever it might be? And really, eating the food, if you're anything other than hungry, is not going to fix those problems. If you're not actually hungry and you're just feeling one of those other emotions, after you get the initial high from eating the food, you're just going to go back to feeling bored or tired or anxious or whatever it might be. So if you're hungry, by all means, you are allowed to eat. But if you are not hungry, you are just feeling one of those emotions, we need to stop and think, right, food is not going to fix this. And just that kind of awareness, just that kind of, rather than going to the cupboard and just sort of going on autopilot, that awareness of, am I really hungry before you eat, is so important and will make such a difference to your life. If you just eat when you are hungry, as opposed to when you are feeling those other things, you will lose weight or you will stop gaining weight. It's just a fact. The next thing to check before you eat, because this can be an issue too, is are you hungry or are you thirsty? So many times we end up thinking we're hungry and we're actually thirsty. So here are the steps I want you to take. I want you to think, am I really hungry or am I feeling these other things? And then before you eat anything, I want you to drink a big glass of water. In fact, the best thing to do is make water your absolute new best friend. It's a really good idea to have one of these kind of, what are they called? Water bottles. They're like thermal water bottles, so they keep cold drinks cold and hot drinks hot. So if you just fill this with water and keep this with you wherever you are and drink lots and lots of water, you're not going to feel as hungry as you normally would. It's going to trick you into thinking you are fuller because you are properly hydrated. Now, full disclosure, it is very rare that I drink plain water, because even if it's really cold, and I won't drink water unless it's really cold, it's a bit boring. Let me know in the comments. Do you fail to drink water because it's just a bit boring? I do. Luckily, I have a solution. These are water enhancers from Exante. They are basically little flavors. You just squirt a little bit in, just a little bit into the water, and they make it taste so yummy. And then for me, I'm just such a child, I'm just far more likely to drink it if it tastes yummy. By the way, if you want to pick up any of these products, I have linked everything below that I mentioned in this video. My next tip is to eat slowly and consciously. Now, if you only take one thing away from this video, let it be this, because if you are going to eat your food slowly and consciously, you are not going to eat as much of it. Shoveling food in mindlessly while we're watching TV or running around or just not thinking about it, we don't think about the flavors, we don't think about how it tastes or feels in our mouth, and more than anything, we do not think about when we are full. So if you are shoveling food into your mouth and you're not thinking about when you're full, you're gonna eat more, because the signal that goes from your tummy up to your brain is just going to be missed because you're just shoveling it all in, and you're not going to stop when you're full. So if you only eat slower and stop when you're full, which is my next tip, by the way, when you are full, stop eating, then you will lose weight. So let me know in the comments, do you eat consciously and really think, okay, am I full now, and stop eating, or do you eat until your food is gone? I think I can guess what most of you are going to say, but let me know. My next tip is to only eat food that you love. Now again, this might seem a bit counterintuitive compared to most of the dieting kind of advice and information that we get, but hear me out. Do you love the leftover chicken nuggets on your children's plate that have gone a bit cold, but you end up mindlessly picking at after your children have eaten? I'm guessing you don't. So don't eat them. You know, really, this goes back to, you should only be eating consciously, and when you are hungry. So if you are mindlessly shoveling in cold chicken nuggets, for example, that is food your body does not need, and you are going to gain weight. Don't do it. You deserve better than cold chicken nuggets. My next tip is, whenever you are eating a meal, eat whatever you want. So you're choosing food that you want, only food you love, not food you think you should eat, but stick a big old dollop of salad on your plate with it. This will help you with the other steps. It will help you slow down with your eating, because every mouthful you have, you'll be having a bit of salad as well. You can have a bit of all the nutritionally goodness that comes with a salad, and it's just going to slow down the whole meal. It's going to add barely any calories to your plate, but it's going to add in the nutrients. Plus, it's going to mean that you stop eating sooner. My next tip is avoid foods that are going to make you crash and burn. Basically, if you are eating simple carbohydrates that are not containing proteins and that are giving you a high rush of quick energy, a quick fix of energy, and then a big drop, you're going to end up feeling kind of like hungry and a bit shaky. What I am previously guilty of doing, and I will admit this, is I'd be out of the house and I'd grab a chocolate bar mid-morning in the shops, and then like 20 minutes to an hour later I'd be like, oh, I'm so hungry, because that chocolate bar's given me an initial hit, rush of energy, and then a crash, and then I feel rubbish, and then it starts this whole cycle all through the day. To be honest, I get this even if I eat cereal for breakfast, because it doesn't have protein, it doesn't have something that's really going to last me all morning. So even if I have a bowl of cereal, by mid-morning I am crashing. So I don't do that anymore. Let me tell you what I do instead. Almost every single morning I eat one of these. These are the Exante meal replacement bars, and this is my go-to breakfast one, which is chocolate caramel crunch. Now, if you follow me over on Instagram, and if you don't, you need to, so please go over and do that as soon as you finish watching this video. If you follow me over on Instagram, you know I'm a bit of a chocoholic anyway. So this one is absolutely fantastic for me. If I eat one of these for breakfast as opposed to cereal, because it is high in protein, it lasts me all morning, and I'm not getting that really nasty sugar crash where I'm absolutely starving all of a sudden and having to reach for snacks that are just no good for me. The other thing that I always do is make sure I have some of these in stock in my bag or the car, so if I do get caught hungry, if I'm out and about, then I'm reaching for one of these, which is far more sensible than buying a bar of chocolate in the local shop. Because it's high in protein, it will last me through to my next meal, and also it has got 27 vitamins and minerals, so I am not going to say no to that. Now, if you've seen some of my stories and my other videos, you will know that Exante do a wide range of these meal replacement bars, and I have some of my favorites here to show you. Chocolate caramel crunch, my kind of favorite go-to. Mint chocolate cookie and cookies and cream bars are some of my absolute favorites. For the summer, Exante have launched 2 new flavors which I have been sent to try: banana bread and carrot cake, which sound super yummy, I'm sure you'll agree. They have loads of other flavors like peanut butter, chocolate coconut. Honestly, they have got so many different flavors on their website. What I would suggest doing is ordering a whole bunch of them, of all the different flavors, and just order like one of each, and then reorder the ones once you've tried them that you love. I don't know if you're the same as me, but like most of the Exante bars I've tried, I've really enjoyed. But you know, like when you've got the Quality Street tin at Christmas, like I like all of them, but there's always some that I will reach for first. I'll always be like, oh, I love those. And then there's the ones at the bottom of the tin that I'm not so fussed on, and I'll eat them if they're there and there's nothing else left, but they don't excite me. So what I find easiest to do if I'm going to use Exante bars, which I do eat, as I said, every day for breakfast, most days for lunch, school days, certainly if my husband isn't home and I'm kind of, it's just me and one of the children, and I've always got them with me for emergency snacks. But what I've found is if I just order my absolute favorites, then every time I go to eat one, it's like, yay, I really like this, as opposed to, yeah, I kind of like it. So stock up on your faves. Another good tip that I have found is to cut your bars in half. Quite often you'll find that for a snack you don't need a whole one. They're really packed with protein, and even half a bar will fill you up, and you can eat the rest later, because this goes back to eat until you are full, not eat until it's gone. So sometimes we need to kind of trick our minds a little bit. If you've only got half of it to eat, you'll only eat half of it. If you've got the whole thing to eat, you'll probably eat the whole thing. So if you are using Exante bars, or any other food for that matter, just make your portion size that you are due to eat smaller. There is always more food. If you are still hungry, you can always go and eat more. But chances are by the time you get to the end of your half-size portion, you're still going to be satisfied, and you can always eat more later. There is always later, and there is always more food. We do not live in times of famine. I mean, I think a lot of us, especially here in the UK, my grandparents grew up in the war where there were rations. So they were very much of the mindset, you know, don't waste food. Food is a precious resource, and that was passed on to my parents, which was kind of passed on to my generation. Let me know in the comments if your parents have ever said to you, there are starving children in the world and you won't finish your food, because otherwise it's just disrespectful to the starving children, or some equivalent version of that. Honestly, the problem with this is it makes us just think we have to eat until it's gone, as opposed to eat until we are full, and this is why we end up putting on weight. So you need to get that mindset out of your head. In fact, I have a challenge for you. My challenge for you is to, every time you eat for the next week, you leave something on your plate. You do not clear your plate. Do the challenge. Get back to me, let me know how you're getting on in the comments. If you do that, you will eat less, you will lose weight. Next tip is a meal plan for the win. If you leave things till last minute, chances are you're going to end up eating junk, for want of a better word. The best thing you can do is make sure you've got healthy options available. If I'm honest, this is one of the reasons that I really like the Exante bars. I can always have them in stock. I don't have to think too much. I can grab one. I know it's got exactly what I need. I know it's good for me. I know it is going to keep me fuller for longer, and I'm not going to end up reaching for junk. So just by having sensible options in stock for both meals and snacks will help you on your weight loss journey. My next tip is to use MyFitnessPal. Now, MyFitnessPal is an app. It is on iOS and Android, I believe, and it's also on the web. It's free to use. There is a premium upgrade, but really I use the free version. It's absolutely fine. You can scan in anything you want to eat. I'll just show you, and it will tell you how many calories are in it. Isn't that clever? This is really, really helpful if you want to keep track on it, even if you're not going to limit your calorie intake. If you know that everything you eat, you have to scan into an app, you're gonna think, am I really gonna wanna add that to my list as well as all the other stuff? So if the only thing you do is record everything you eat, you will probably eat less. Try it again for a week and let me know. My next tip is to increase your activity levels. And I'm not suggesting you go and run a marathon. I'm suggesting you increase your day-to-day movement. So this could be parking slightly further away from the shops in your car rather than parking by the front door, so you're walking further. It could be walking all the way from your home to the shops. It could be getting off the bus one stop early. It could be taking the stairs instead of the lift. These little changes mean that we are moving our bodies more and we are burning more calories, and therefore we are losing weight or maintaining a nice healthy weight where we're comfortable. And then if you are going to pick some proper exercise to do, pick something that you love. If you hate running, don't go running. You're never going to stick at it. If you enjoy a Zumba class, do that. If you enjoy a certain sport, do that. Do something that lights you up and you're excited to do it, and you are far more likely to stick at it. My next tip is to get yourself a fitness tracker. I have got an Apple Watch, and basically this tracks my movement throughout the day, so just literally how much I am moving my body. It tracks my exercise, which is not like an actual exercise, but how much movement I do that elevates my heart rate to an exercise level. Things like energetically climbing up the stairs, or even aggressive cleaning, that can be counted as exercise. Anything that is raising your heart rate. And then every hour that I'm sitting at my desk and I have not stood up, it gives me a bing bong, get off your bottom and move around a little bit reminder, which is super helpful. So by tracking your movement, you are more likely to move a little bit more. So grab yourself an Apple Watch or any other fitness tracker that suits you and start using it. My next tip is to track your progress. Now, this can be in 2 different metrics that I think that you should track. You should track your weight. Although the actual number doesn't matter that much, it is nice to see progress, because I personally found when I started seeing progress and weight coming off, it motivated me to keep going. So weigh yourself as soon as you decide to start. So weigh yourself at your heaviest, because then you are going to see the progress, you're going to see the weight come off, and you're going to feel better about it. Now, personally, I think that weighing every day helps. Now, I know a lot of fitness professionals will disagree with this, but hear me out. What I found is your weight fluctuates a lot. It goes up and down, and even as you are losing weight, it will go up a little bit before it go down. Even if you're being super good, you will go up a bit and then go down, up a bit and then go down, and it will sort of trend down, but in this kind of zigzaggy motion. Now, if you weigh once a week, and last week you were at your lightest and this week you were at your heaviest, you might seem like you've not lost any weight, which is really depressing, and you think, well, this isn't working, I give up. However, you might just be weighing, like I said, at these funny times. So if you weigh every day, as long as you accept that there's going to be this zigzag, you will see an overall trend and you are more likely to stick with it. The other metric that I suggest tracking is measurements. So even though your weight might be zigzagging, you will notice as you lose weight that your measurements go down. So this measurement could be your waist size, your bust size, your upper arm size, your upper thigh size, your hip size, whichever metrics that you decide to measure, and I suggest that you do. Now, this can probably only be done once a week because it's a bit of a pain to do, but measure all these metrics, bung it into your phone in MyFitnessPal, and it will graph it all for you. And you might find, especially if you are exercising, that your weight doesn't go down because you're gaining muscle, but your size is going down, which is really all that matters, isn't it? We don't really care about numbers, we care about how we feel in our clothes and how confident we feel in our own body. By tracking the measurements as well as the weight, you might see a positive result and it might motivate you to keep going. My next tip is to stay accountable. So this could be by adding friends through MyFitnessPal so that they can see what you are eating and how many steps you're taking, because all the trackers and things link up to that. And then they can see what you're doing and you know someone's watching you, keeping an eye on you, and you're more likely to stick to it. That could be by competing with people through your tracker. I can invite people to compete with me on my Apple Watch, other people who've got watches, and have little competitions about who's moving more and who's being super lazy, whatever it might be. So that keeps me motivated. There's also an Exante Facebook group, which is a great little supportive community where you can go and talk to like-minded people and really keep each other on track and give each other the support that you need on your journey. The next thing I want you to remember is that perfectionism is your enemy when it comes to weight loss. How many times have you gone like, oh, right, I'll start Monday, and then just thought, right, well, I can't start till Monday because I've got to start at the beginning of the week, so I'll just eat everything inside now. It's nonsense. Or you fall off the wagon and eat far too much one day. You're like, oh, the whole week is ruined now, and write it all off. Or even the day, you know, you eat too much at lunchtime and think, oh, it's all ruined. So you just eat excessive amounts for the rest of the day because it's all ruined. I have done this more times than I can tell you. Let me know in the comments if you've ever done this. And I just think that it's this idea of perfectionism. As soon as we can appreciate that anytime you say, do you know what, I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat that, it's a win. So okay, maybe you ate too much earlier, But if right now you're like, okay, I was going to reach for something and I stopped myself, I realized I wasn't hungry, I was just bored and I didn't eat it, that is a win. So you can just move on. If you've made a little mistake, you've eaten too much, get over it, move on from it, and just next time take each kind of little meal decision one win at a time. Do not let perfectionism ruin it all for you. My next tip is to trick your brain with small plates. If you eat off smaller plates, then you will put less food on your plate and you will eat less food. Try it, get back to me, let me know if it works. But it will. Next tip is a bit of a weird one. Some psychologists proved it. Can't remember who, so I'm not going to be able to reference this here. But if you eat food on a contrasting coloured plate, you are more likely to eat less and to put less on your plate. If you eat white food on a white plate, you're more likely to pile it high. If you eat orange food on an orange plate, you're most likely to do the same. So put your food on a contrasting coloured plate. Again, it's just another form of tricking our brain. Give it a go and let me know how you get on with it. My next tip is to do your research before you eat out. There is nothing more irritating than the diet bore that is trying to calculate calories at the table when you're ordering. Most restaurants these days will have the menu online, so you check it out before you go, figure out what you think you might order so you don't end up kind of ordering accidentally the most calorific thing on the menu. Because if there is a choice between two things in any given time and you like them kind of equally, just choose the one with least calories. You know, for example, if I'm choosing an ice cream, there's like a chocolatey one or a fruity one and I like them equally. The fruity one's got half the calories, I may as well have that. Why not? There's no harm in it. Same with eating out in the restaurant. Have a little look through the menu, see what you fancy, and then order something you fancy by all means, but just choose the least calorific option. And then when you get there, you know, follow the other steps. Eat slowly and consciously. Put your cutlery down between your mouthfuls. Eat it slowly. Listen for the signals from your brain that you are full, and when you are full, stop eating. The next one is not so much a tip, but something I want you to remember. Your willpower is like your phone battery. You start the day full of willpower and really like, I got this, I'm on this, I can do this. And by the end of the day, it's totally dwindled down to zilch. At least if you're anything like me, it has. Let me know in the comments if you're the same. But basically, if you can start the day with full willpower, the more willpower you can retain throughout the day, the better. So if you can resist the urge to kind of snack and comfort earlier in the day, then you're on to a winner. The longer you can resist that urge through the day, the better. If it ends up happening at the end of the day, then, and you eat a bit more than expected, then it happens. But personally, I find if I fall off the wagon first thing in the morning and I end up kind of eating way too much, then we get slightly tied into this perfectionism thing, but again with a willpower thing. The earlier in the day that it all goes pear-shaped, the more I end up eating. Remember the willpower, like the phone battery. Hang on to your juice of your willpower as long as you can. My next tip is to say, right, I'm gonna have whatever I want. So you've gone through the other steps. You've decided you really are hungry, you've drunk your water, you've decided what you really want, and just say, okay, I'm gonna have it in 30 minutes. Just 30 minutes. Because quite frankly, this is a good test. In 30 minutes, you might have forgotten about it. So if you've gone through all the other steps and you can still have time to wait for 30 minutes and you're not starving, you think, okay, I'm a bit peckish, if you can wait for 30 minutes, eat it in 30 minutes. Because not only you may have forgotten about it, you may not want it anymore, but this has also got you further through your day of your willpower and you're just pushing your food to later in the day. I know there are certain schools of thought that say you shouldn't eat after certain times and things, but I don't know. I personally think that if I eat loads in the morning, I'm just going to keep eating loads all day. My next tip is to love yourself every day. If you are not happy in your body now, you're never going to be. Start being grateful for all of the things that your body does for you. Be grateful for being strong enough to walk around and to breathe air in and out and to really love what your body can do for you. We all have a big list of things that we could reel off going, I don't like this, I don't like that. But pick a few things about your body that you like. You like your hair, you like your lips, whatever it might be, and focus on those things. Really focus on loving yourself as much as possible, because I guarantee if you pick holes in your appearance now, there's no amount of weight that you could lose that you're going to stop picking holes in your appearance. So pick things that you love, focus on those, and it will help you in your journey. Give yourself a break. You are human. If you do fall off the wagon, eat the wrong things, whatever, give yourself a break. Do not beat yourself up. Do not beat yourself up for the weight you are now, or the weight you should be, or what you've eaten, or what you shouldn't have eaten, or the exercise you haven't done. Start from now. The best time to start, if you haven't already started, is now. And I hope that that gives you the kind of inspiration and motivation to realize that you can do this, because you really can. Making these small changes in your life will make all the difference, and it'll mean that your weight will go down and will stay at a level where you are comfortable and happy. Thank you so much again to Exante for sponsoring this video. If you would like to check out their products, there is a link below. Head over there now. There is also a discount code. You can use that across their range to grab some goodies. Thank you so much for watching. If you've liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday at 7 PM. If you want to catch my latest video, it is just over here. And if you want to watch a video that YouTube thinks you would love from my channel, that's just down here. I'll see you guys soon.